Yes, good morning. Is it morning? Because it's still sunny outside, so I'm not sure. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for this really special show, special airing time today. Yeah, we're starting a bit early, 5 o'clock. But maybe I think I decided to start early because I'm so nervous. Like today, I'm really nervous. I'm almost forgetting to introduce the star of the show beside me. Avi, how are you?
I'm not the star of the show. The
Okay,
one who's
yes.
going to come on the show, he's the star.
That's
He will be
also
the
true.
star
Yeah,
today.
yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly. I'm so nervous because we've got like someone that I've looked up to a lot, and someone who's like making me really, really happy to be watching, Malaysian football after a while. That person is joining us from like a spot that I never thought our show would be able to get him on because he's that level of a guest. Uh, it is none other than the legendary Datuk Ong Kim Swee. Datuk, how are you, sir? And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Logan. I'm good. How are you, Avinash?
I'm good, coach. I'm good. How are you?
Very well.
Very happy to have you on board with us today. Sabah is doing so well. As I've mentioned many times on the show, I'm a Sabah a native, but not native like I mean born and raised in Sabah lah, but a Sabah fan as well. And I really want to thank you for everything you're doing for the team. Really amazing.
Yeah, it's good to be where we are at the moment, but still, it's too early. Yeah,
Mm.
definitely, there's a long way to go, and we need to keep focus on what we are doing.
Okay, fantastic. So, Avi, let's start with the range of questions.
Okay, we've got lots of questions to ask, lah, coach. As you know me, I always ask you questions when I soalan punya.
Uh,
So, okay, first up is we have always seen you as a national coach, with the under 23 team and then the national team, and you're with FM for quite a while. And then you made the transition to club football. I mean, we long to see you in that setup, and now you're part of it. So, I just want to ask you, how is it like at the moment? The transition from FAM to Sabah, from tournament football to league football. How is that going for you at the moment?
well, it's two totally different things.
Mm.
Yeah, and like what you say in national setup during my time as under 23 national team coach, we just go for one off assignment.
Mm.
Yeah, where you gather the players for 2 weeks, probably the most 3 weeks, and then you go for a tournament and you come back and that's it. And when you do well with national team, of course, it's the same with all the clubs. But in club football, you work day to day basic, yeah, and it's a long season, as what you know, and of course, it's like I said, totally two different things where you need to identify, you need to work a certain area. That is the beauty,
Mm.
where you always work on something. You don't just plan for one off tournament like what I see with national team, and in club football you keep on doing something that you look at, especially your weakness and even your strength. You need to keep on improving, where with this with all kinds of gadgets at the moment, like us, we have all this research or analysis that we do, and not only me, but I believe the other teams also are doing the same thing. So you cannot stick to one decision in the league, where people will identify your weakness or strength easily.
Okay, coach. I mean, what are the challenges? I mean, we want to know the pros and cons lah of being part of a national setup and also in a league setup. Okay, for example, league setup lah. What are the challenges that you face in terms of transitioning into that kind of setup?
Yes, I have. This is very important. Yeah, number
Mm.
one, before I signed for Sabah FC, definitely I talked to the president, to the management, our CEO Firdaus, my team manager Mazuki, and I need to know what is their objective.
Mm.
And from there, of course, number one, I need to know what is our budget like. Yeah, and you can see when I got here last year during the Malaysia Cup, I have no choice but I have to play with whatever I have, with certain areas that need to improve. But in the new season, I recruit a lot of new players, and I can say about 70% of the squad now is all new players. Yeah, and not only by recruiting, but I need to look at the facilities that we have. Yeah, without training field, definitely you can't train. You bet you have the best player in the world, but you don't have training facilities. It's going to be a disaster. Yeah, you can't train well. You have to hop in here and there. So what I did is at the moment, after 3 months, we have our own field. Example, yeah,
Nice.
we have our own training ground where I can see it's a very decent training ground, and even we have floodlights on that. So during this fasting month, we can train at night, because before this we keep on training at Stadium Likas, but you can use the stadium every now and then, where there's always a game that we need to utilize. So that is one of the example. And of course, it's not easy, because in the club, there's a lot of board of directors that you need to go through, where you need to get certain permission, and uh, at the end of the day, it's all about money. Yeah, if we can afford to have anything, then it'll be very smooth. But sometimes there's certain matters, certain things that you request, it might take time.
Okay, coach. The league is now 5 match weeks old. Lah. I mean, it's still young. But I just want to ask you this one simple question. Lah. Are you having fun in the Super League or not?
when I when you start winning, that is a fun. You see, uh, when you lose, of course, you can't sleep. You'll be
Mm,
thinking, but you have to take it positively.
mm,
You know,
mm, mm,
because I choose to be here. Like I always talk to Scott. I see Scott.
mm,
Scott Olorenshaw. I told him, I said, when winning is always fun, where people
mm,
always talk about the team. When we are losing, sometimes I just think, I think, did I make a right decision?
mm.
But for me, it's all challenge. So it's about challenging yourself. When you lose, of course, there's a lot of critics. Avinish, how it is. Yeah, but I always take it positively, and with my philosophy, with my trust and the support from the management, I think we'll do well. I don't see that we'll finish top two, top three, or winning a cup, but I think we'll do very well with what we have at the moment.
All right. Coach, I'm asking this question perhaps from a Man United supporter's perspective, because I'm looking at what needs to be done at that club as like a huge rebuilding process, and I'm interested in the rebuilding process that you've kind of put into Sabah as well, because I've always wondered, is it what's the first step that you feel you have to take in that grand plan? Is it like just signings? Is it changing the training methods? Is it building a culture? Where do you start when you rebuild a team like this?
Okay, definitely. First of all, is the players, that what you're gonna get. Now is the kind of budget that you are allowed to have, and definitely after that will be training. Yeah, and training. You see, Logan, like I said to everyone, even though I recruit a lot of experienced players, and some of them have played for national team, our youth team, but you can't expect them to blend in a short period. Yeah, you look like what you say, Manchester United. They have world class players, and they need time. Yeah, and especially with my three new foreign signing, they have never come out from from their countries, like Neto and Jackson, both from Brazil. It's their first time coming out from Brazil. Of course, Taiki has played in Finland, Sadil that we have from Indonesia, and Park. So they need times to blend. But in this short period, what I can say, they are blending very well. But still, there's a lot of loophole where I believe along the way you'll be getting much better. And not forgetting, yeah, I have about 7 or 8 young players that is under 23 with Sabah FC at the moment. and I have to think about their development too. I can't just concentrate on the experienced player, on the senior players, on the foreign players, but forget about the development of our young players. So I hope that in future, what they've been saying about next year to have reserve league, I think that would be good to expose the local young players here before they come to the standard where they can cope with the Super League or Premier League.
Okay, okay. And I think also in football, we tend to talk a lot. I mean, recently, when we talk about people like European football, Klopp and Pep and all, we talk a lot about identity, style of play. Um, from such an experienced coach like yourself, how important is this style of play? Do you really need it to win, or is it something more fundamental, like just having a really good team spirit, fundamentals, work ethic?
Okay, I'll give you an example yesterday. You compare Ulsan and JDT.
JD.
So Ulsan is a very experienced team, good quality of player, has won Champions League, but JDT beat them.
Mm.
Yeah. So in football, it's not about style; it's overall. Yeah. Sometimes you have an average players, but if your fighting spirit is good, your tactical discipline is good, you can achieve result. So for me, style, of course, every team must have their own style, but in system, it can be changed anytime. And most important is the teamwork. Like I said, the teamwork, the team spirit. If you can implement it to all the teams, sometimes in football, that you are defending, you're playing against a strong team, you play very disciplined, and you got a chance, pop, you score. That shows the players are fighting very very hard, and they understand tactical from the first minute until the end.
Coach, speaking about tactics and so on, because last year when I spoke to you, you said that you need to speak to players about data, about tactics, about understanding, patterns of play and all that. Because football now, there are lots of styles and so on, and you just can't stick to one principle to win games and so on. So those ideas, those principles, and especially data line analysis, how are the boys picking up at the moment? I know the experienced players are aware of all this. What about the young Sabahan boys?
Yeah, they are trying to adapt. I
Mm,
see, Avinish, I I just got here for about 5 months.
mm,
I think so. I'm trying to change beat by beat, yeah, especially to these young players. Why are we doing this?
mm,
You have data. Example, you're using GPS for your training for your games, and you get all the data. But it's not a point of me to know about the data, but I'm trying to get the players to understand why are
mm,
you using GPS and what are we looking at. All these they have to learn. They have to learn about why you need certain parameters where in this kind of situation. So I'm trying to teach them bit by bit, and as like I said, along the way, I think everybody is kind to understand what I feel.
Was there any kind of awkwardness? Because when it comes to football, as like any layman, like when they play football, they want to play because it's for the fun of it. When they're on the pitch, they just want to enjoy, they just want to have fun. But professional football is a whole different animal.
Yeah.
So how I mean, were there any awkward moments with the young players? Like, kenapa kita perlu tahu ni semua? Did they ask that kind of question?
That is why
Mm,
I'm here to educate them,
mm,
especially the young players. Sometimes the young players, like what you said, they
mm,
come to football, they want to have fun, but at the
right.
same time, you are professional, you have been paid to
Mm,
play football, so you must know how to improve yourself. But if you think that your performance is not right, you can
mm,
always refer to something. Like I said, we have GPS in terms of distance, acceleration, whatever you want to do. But at the same time, we have video analysis. Why I'm performing this way on this particular game, but the previous game, I can do certain things, but why I can't do certain things, why I can do the same in the next game. So these kind of things, if the individual players understand their position very well, what they need to do, what I do is we edited all the all the individuals clip for them to have a look. If they have something to refer to us, they can always come to me and say, coach, probably, some of them will come and, coach, you see this situation, what do you think I should do? So these kind of things, we need two-way communication. With Malaysia, our mentality, that is the problem with us. What I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to educate them to have two-way of conversation. You can ask me, you don't have to be afraid of me. You need to ask in order for you to improve. If you don't ask, then probably you will never want to learn. So that is the simple thing that I can say. So these kind of things that I've been trying to implement, not only to our young players, even our senior players. I'm always open up, and
Mm.
sometimes the senior players will ask me certain things about why I'm doing this. Even the foreign players, but foreign players, they always have questions for you.
It's interesting that you mentioned about this two-way communication because, to my knowledge, I know some players are a bit apprehensive to talk to coaches. Like, they're always in their cocoon. They just stay there, they just play, and then whatever coach say, I just don't know. But there is no like two-way communication. They don't tend to ask the question, especially in our country, Malaysia. Do you see that changing in recent years? How is that going at the moment between players and coaches?
Well, it all depends up to the coaches.
Mm,
Yeah. So if the coach think that they need a feedback
mm,
from the players, feedback, yeah,
mm,
not by, I mean, feedback is not the players telling you what to do.
mm,
Feedback, I get my feedback from the players. I get my feedback from my assistant coaches. So at the end of the day, it's me to decide
mm,
what we should improve, what we need to do. So I don't see it's a big issue where if you ask an opinion,
mm.
or you ask your senior player, what do you think about this system? Do you think that we should stick to our previous style, or you are comfortable with this? So it's just getting information from this player, that player. At the end of the day, you listen to everyone, and you have to decide. And if you think that it's good for you to make a change, then you change. But in football, there's no certain things like you have to do the same thing in every game. No,
Mm,
you need to keep on changing. Number one, you play a different style of opponent. Yeah. And number two, you can't stick to all the good things that you've been doing, because people will be aware about your strength. So you must have variation. So that is where it's very important that you have feedbacks. You have feedbacks from the people that surround you. I mean, players, coaches. Of course, if like I said, if you lost a game, you will hear this that from from particular people that you will just definitely will make you think about something else. But for
mm.
me, it's important that we do our own analysis.
Okay, coach. Now coming to the foreign players, lah. You have signed. I mean, the ones that you have retained were Pak Teso and Sadil Ramdhani. The three new signings: Neto Pessoa, Jackson Souza,
Mm.
and Taiki Kagayama. The one, I mean, I know you're a coach that don't pick on particular players, lah, but we want to do that, lah. Like for example, Taiki.
Yeah.
Whenever I watch him play, he's so effortless with the ball. Even at one point, Logan said Debunis touches macam Berbatov at some
There was
points, lah.
one touch he did that
One
was like
touch, yeah,
Berbatov.
Berbatov, exactly. So we just want to ask you, how did you identify this place and how did you convince this place? Like I know Neto had a pretty good reputation in Brazil, Jackson as well.
Mm.
Taiki was doing well in Finland, was playing for a Europa League club also. So for you to entice them to come play and under your project, and looking at their style of play, how did you identify this place and how did you convince them to come?
Well, like what you say, Avinish,
Mm,
and during the last 2 years, there is pandemic time
mm,
where you can't get to travel and watch. Yeah, you have to
yes, yes.
rely on their statistic. You have to rely on their video. You have to do a lot of research. But with Taiki, what I remember, he was my
Mm,
last sign. You
mm.
know, I have the Asian quota from Pak Tesu.
Pak
Yeah,
Tesu.
I
Mm,
can
mm,
just take anyone else that I want. But him, his video, And look at him as what you said. He got good touches. Technically, he's very strong. He's very mobile, and he can play few positions. So I'm wondering, like what you are. I'm wondering. I said, why he wants to come to Malaysia? He's playing in a good league in Finland. So what I do is I arrange for a Zoom meeting
Hmm.
with him, with his agents, and with my management, especially my manager Mazuki. So from the interview, I asked him few questions, and like I said, why you want to come, what you know about Sabah, what you know about Malaysian Super League. So I can see that it's a genuine things that he wants a new challenge, you know. But like I said, at the end of the day, we pay him not as big as people might think, because we are not a big club with a lot of money. We are a small club with big ambition.
Hmm.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, he agreed to come, and I think he gave me a good response during the interview. And like I said, there's no choice. Where last year you can't travel and
Hmm.
you can't go here and there to look at the players. So I think, but at the same time, I think it's too early for us to judge it. I mean, you need to give everyone a certain period of time where hopefully they will shine and they will help the team. It's not about him scoring 10, 15 goals. It's about what amount of work that he can do for the team and everyone get the result.
Also, you have signed several former I mean, not former national, but still national players like Karul Fami Chemat, Bertol Bhatia, Dominic Tan. Their influence, how important has it been for Sabah this season? Like in your own eyes, based on what you've seen so far, how important have they been towards the growth of Sabah? I mean, it's still early, but then you can see there remnants of it. Lah.
Yeah,
Mm,
until the current moment,
mm,
I can see that, like I've played for Sabah,
mm,
and I know how the Sabahans thinks.
mm,
Yeah, and of course, they are not happy when it's common everywhere.
mm, mm, mm,
Everywhere. Yeah, it's not about but where there's no local players involved.
mm,
So the first thing when Badrul, Khairul, Fami, Rizal, or Dominic, when they join us, the first thing I told them is you have to blend with all the locals, and you have to get them to participate or to be with you guys in whatever things that we do. That is number one priority, because once you get everyone to be together, because these young players, when they heard about Badru Bakhtiar, they will heard about
mm,
Khairul Fami, they would be thinking, oh, this is a big player, so I'm just going to put myself. Our mentality how it is. But I said, they're going to be like that, but you people have to play a role. That is number one, where when you build up the team building outside the training field,
mm.
then it will be much better when they come as a team on the field. So that is what I can say is happening at the moment, but it's still too early. There's still few things that we need to adapt to, and with the current result, I mean, I can say that I'm very happy or I'm not satisfied, but I want to make sure that we progress according to our plan.
Yeah. Avi, if
Okay.
you don't mind, can I
No, no
just,
problem. Go ahead,
yeah,
Adrian. Mm,
I got a question about the fans because, like, for me, right, I'll be very honest, coach. I had not really watched Malaysian football for a while because of work and life. Things come back. But when I saw you taking charge of Sabah, I saw the gameplay, I saw everything. I started really following it back again. Have you seen a change in the fans in Sabah? Is there more of a buzz because of you?
Well, you see, like I told you earlier, yeah, with the national team also is the same thing. When I took over last year, we qualified for quarterfinal of Malaysia Cup. That give them the belief that, oh, we can achieve something. It's good. Whenever you have fans that believe in you, you will support the team. And beginning of the season, we didn't do well in our invitation tournament, SMJ Cup, if you remember.
mm,
And there's already starts a talk where, oh, we spend so much money, don't have local players playing, but we still can't beat this kind of thing. Happens the first game we lost to Negri Milan. Yeah, the first game of the league at home, and there's people saying that, oh, we should deduct their salary. These kind of things. I mean, well, they have the right to say,
Yeah.
like what you say, Logan. But after losing to Negri Milan, we won 3 games in a row. We won 2 away. Suddenly change again. We think where what people said in Malay, mana angin tiup, that is where you go. You know? So for me, it's fine.
Mm.
But most important, our gameplay, our how we want to achieve result in the league is very important. Sometimes you play. I give you example against JDT. Are you going to play an open game against them? You must know what your strength is. But at the same time, I'm not saying that when playing open game, you just sit down and wait. No, you have to look at you have to depends on your current players that you have. So along the way, like I said, after winning few games, and then we lost again. We lost to KL the last match that we play, and but what I can see, the fans start realizing that it takes time for this team to blend. So that is what my objective is. You can't expect us just to beat every single team and be at the top of the table. No, you need times for these players to blend together. But most important, we cannot stop working. We must keep on working. Doesn't matter what it is. And the players need to understand that, they need to be fully focused, especially on the field.
Okay, coach. I mean, now that point was mentioned, I just want to ask you this. Like, I mean, it has always been bugging me also. Football maturity in Malaysia, in the sense that understanding football very well. Are we there yet, coach? Are we still, learning? Are we still like, kind of like, because like I give you an example. Yesterday, Coach Ideal, after Kedah beat
Penang.
Penang 2-1,
Yeah.
some guy actually asked him, "Oh, you played three backline," and then Ideal was like, "Do you watch football?
Mm, mm,
We
mm,
played back four." And
mm,
why are you being so negative? Why are you being so critical? This is the problem in Malaysian football. When we win one game,
mm,
you shower everything, shower praises and all that. When we lose another game, that's it. It's end of the world.
mm,
And that seems to be the scenario in Malaysian football. People's understanding of the game is totally different compared to the Westerners and all that.
mm, mm.
So, I mean, what do you have to say about that, coach? I mean, this one I just want to know from your own words, Kalau nak jawab.
Well, for me, if like me, example, you are questioning me about my tactics, my system, or whatever it is. Number one, I will look at you. Who are you?
Mm.
Are you my manager? Are you my CEO? Are you my president? Then I
Mm.
need to answer you. Because for me, if I were going to answer you, this
Mm.
would be the first three particular person I'm going to answer to. Yeah. And if you're a fans, is I respect fans a lot.
Mm.
Yeah. I know they are very important for the team. But if you're going to question me in the public about why I'm playing this or I'm playing that, I think I got no right to answer you. You know, and for me, if you're going to talk to him, it will create uh, more issues.
Right.
You know? So if you want to question me, let's talk as a professional, and I will explain to you in very details why I do
Mm.
certain things. And for me, not all the fans, or probably we can say all the medias, don't understand. They do understand,
Mm.
but media, they like to spark something. Am I right, Avinish?
That one I will not answer.
You are right. You are right, coach.
So it's not a matter of questioning. Given. For me, football is how you can say is about opinions. If you go to
Mm.
mama stall, the
Mm.
mama people have their own opinions. If you go and watch the game in a clubhouse, there will be different opinions.
Different opinion,
When you
exactly.
go to the stadium, they will give you different opinions. But you know what? If I'm going to listen to these A, B, C, D opinions, at the end, what I'm going to do, you know, and
Mm.
football, when certain things happen during the game, you don't have the luxury time to think about, oh, the next day, what I'm going to do. No, you have to make up your
Mm.
mind in a split second.
Exactly, split second.
If you see something is not right in that position, even though that is just about just 20 minutes of game, and then
Mm.
you need to change, will you make a change? So these kind of things that people might not go through, what we see, of course, football, people want to watch how you move the ball. Oh, you play a beautiful game tiki taka, or you cross the ball, the finishing goals is very nice, yes, but how you want to achieve that?
Yeah.
So it's not easy. So like I said, I mean, not that the fans don't aware about all this. They do, but certain parties, certain uh, medias, they always like to look at something else.
This reporter can ask those questions or not?
We'll talk about it later.
Huh?
No problem. We'll talk about it later after the show.
I mean, I'm not going to speak on behalf of the other media, lah, but when I mean, for as a reporter, when we see something, we try to rationalize it, like if it makes sense or not,
Yeah, yeah,
that kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
thing.
That's why. That's why. I mean, of course, I'm not saying I make the right decision all the time.
Mm.
Sometimes I do make mistake.
Mm.
Everyone make mistake. Do you think Alex Ferguson, Jose Mourinho don't make mistake? They do. But do you think that they're going to tell the public, oh, I make a blunder by
They won't.
putting this player? No,
Obviously not. No, no.
no, you can't do that. So all these kind of things that we need to understand. Yeah.
Okay, coach. One last question from me, lah, coach. I know you're in Sabah, part of a project and all
Mhm.
that, and a lot of us, lah. I mean, we have seen JDT dominating the Malaysian domestic scene for a very long time, and we
Yep.
are hopeful of seeing other teams be closing the at least lah, closing the gap with them, because we need competition, we need
Yes.
depth for
Yes.
national football in the future. So in Sabah's case lah, I'm sure I've spoken to you before. You have plans, like
Mm.
even when I first interviewed you in 2013, you mentioned about the Japan blueprint, how
Mm.
football is done and all that.
Mm.
So with Sabah, what is the blueprint like, and how long you're giving the team to close the gap with JDT.
Well, to close the gap with JDT as a professional club, yeah,
Mm, 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 mm.
I think it will be a long, long way. I'm not
Right.
saying that GDT going to be very successful in another 10 years come. Like what you said, we are not trying to be as what they are, but
Mm,
we are trying very hard to give a challenge not only to JDT,
mm,
because we are not as close as JDT. Okay,
mm,
let me be realistic, but
mm,
we can always show something else where we are competitors among all the elite clubs in Malaysia, like JDT, Selangor, Terengganu. They've been there. Sabah is up and down. And my priority here is to make the team consistent for
mm,
this year, to learn what we need to improve. And of course, next year we are looking at certain areas. But at the same time, like I said, Vinesh, I have a technical director, Scott Olorenshaw. He's
mm.
been working very hard with the youth development program.
Right.
Recently we have a deal with Super Rimau, Liga Super Rimau. So we're going to start Liga Super Rimau in KK by next month or
Oh,
early.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Mm,
So
mm,
these kind of things, we are working with the schools, the sports schools, in regards of the development of the players. So, like I said, we have short-term target and we have long-term target. Of course, short-term target is about the senior team, but
mm,
long-term target will be the youth team, where I want to see a lot of local Sabahans being the pioneer or the I mean, the majority of our senior team in future. We cannot just buy and buy the players from all over Malaysia. But in certain stage, hopefully, Sabah always have good talent. You see, from those time, Datuk James Wong, Datuk Hasan Sani, we have Matlan Marjan, we have Rozaimi, we have so many players that that is very talented. And I believe the young players that we have now also are talented player. Example, Haras from the project team
Aras.
is with me, and then now we have two very young players, 17 and 18 years old, with the project team. So these kind of players, we need to expose them. So it's not only to develop them, but to expose them in better league. So there's a lot of things that need to be structured, yeah, in order for us to achieve that. So I would say that in 5 to 10 years time, yeah, I think the local Sabahan will be the majority, the core players of the senior team. That is what I want to look at.
I think that's super fantastic because just to add on to that is because I come from a very very small town, and when we saw the players from our town, people like Julius Ating and Ronnie Harun and all these people coming into the state team, it was so inspirational. So many players played because of that. Not me, I was rubbish, but but yeah, what you're doing, coach.
But better than Avinish, right?
No,
See,
no.
he had to. Knowing him.
Avinish is very deceptively skilled, coach. You have not seen him on the futsal court.
No.
Yeah.
Biasa je, coach.
But I think honestly, coach, that is incredible because I think the talents that you're going to unearth are just and inspire because when they see people from like their next door neighbors becoming a footballer,
Yeah.
their kids will do the same thing. It's fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. I think on that note, I want to kind of move to the final segment of our talk today, lah.
Okay.
That's the rapid fire questions. So this is where we feature questions from the audience and also just some fun questions from us
Yeah.
about football.
Before you ask me, you're talking about local players or international players or what?
Dua-dua pun boleh.
Dua-dua pun boleh, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, I want to start with a question from our viewer, Don J, who's asking, who's the most talented player you've ever coached?
Well, it's not easy, yeah. I've been involved with a lot of young players, especially during my Harimau Muda time, and I can say I've worked with a lot good young talented players like Gary Stewart Robert, Irfan Fazail, Wan Zek Aikal, Nazmi Faiz Mansoor. I can name a few more, like even Izam Tamizi. All these, they are all talented players, and I hope more of these young players will come from the system. Especially we have the project team now.
Okay, all right. So now, coach, we're expanding worldwide, or you want to make it national also can. Who's your favorite player of all time?
My favorite player will be Glenn Hoddle.
Oh, nice.
Of course, he's my rivals playing for Spurs, but I like the way that he play, the movement that he has as a midfielder. He's not panic. He dictate the game very well. He can control the tempo of the game. So these kind of players that can change uh, the result anytime that you want.
Yeah.
As an Arsenal fan, I can accept that answer.
No.
Oh, there's nothing got to do with
Yeah, nothing got to do with it because Odell is a class player. No doubt about it.
I think he's one of the most composed players we've had.
Exactly, yeah.
Seriously. Your most underrated player of all time?
So far, if you ask me about Malaysian, underrated would be Hazwan Bakri.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jack.
He has, I mean, he has lack of minutes of play, and I believe that him is Sabahan, yeah, Hazwan Bakri, and one more that I think underrated, or I think is towards the end of the career or is already over, is Rosaimi. Yeah, and another
Mm.
Sabah. So these two players are two strikers from that might change the landscape of our strikers if they were to be very active.
Okay, okay. I think I may know the answer to this already because maybe you may have met him. But who's your favorite manager of all time?
Of course, Arsene Wenger. Yeah.
So, how did it feel to meet your favorite manager of all time?
Well, sometimes in football you will never know. Yeah.
Hmm,
When I start my coaching career, I don't think I'll be meeting Arsene Wenger and have the opportunity to sit down with him and to listen to what he has to say. So this is something that you learn a lot. Yeah, not only with Arsene Wenger. Of course, I attended a lot of conference with AFC with good speakers, and I attached a month with QPR, Atletico
Mm.
Madrid, different kind of personality. So that is where you learn.
okay, all right. One player that you have absolutely hated to play against.
While during my playing time is Allen Davidson.
Ah,
Ah.
Ah, I don't like to play with him.
I know a lot of players have said that.
Even either him or me or any one of us, definitely. Either both of us also will get yellow card, but not a red. We'll be fighting. Yeah, every time when we play against each other.
Okay, fantastic. Uh, which one was more memorable for you? The Sea Games gold or the title with Sabah?
Two different things.
Hmm,
But of course, winning the Sea Games is the most memorable situation where uh, until today it don't happen again.
yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
If you like to talk about it, like when we won after winning the penalty kicks, we have to meet up with the late Sultan of Pahang. So that kind of memory will last forever.
Okay, okay. Best memory of '96 for you in that special year?
96, we won the league,
Yeah.
of course. And we don't lose a single game at home. We are not afraid to play against any team. Any team that comes to Kota Kinabalu, comes to Likas, it's just a matter of us winning how many goals. That's it. Because we have all the best players around the team.
Okay. Now we move to your current dressing room. Who is the funniest player in your dressing room? The most entertaining?
Taiki.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. But of course, when it comes to certain situation, he likes to talk so much, and the boys like it, and you need someone like that in the dressing room.
Okay. All right. This next question, I'm going to put you on the spot a bit here.
Okay,
Your Sabah food or Malacca food?
Malacca, to be honest.
Ah,
Yeah, I've been in Malacca for so long. Yeah, of course, there's few things that I like in Sabah. Logan, Sabah have a lot
yeah.
of seafood. Seafood is good here. Yeah,
Yeah.
Avinish, you have to come. You
I
can
will
have
come. I
different
will
kind
come.
of seafood for a week.
Yes.
For a
Yeah.
week, huh?
I will drag him there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're just going to go through like four of the biggest derbies in European football and just get who you would cheer for lah in that derby. Okay. We start off United versus Liverpool. Who would you cheer for?
Liverpool,
Okay. All right. Expected. Madrid versus Barcelona.
Barcelona,
Okay. Inter versus AC Milan.
Inter.
Inter. Okay. This one easiest of all lah. Arsenal Spurs.
You don't even need to ask that question, lah, Logan.
Before you ask, I already know the answer.
Okay, but I'm just intrigued to know why you made your choices. Any reasons why?
Well, no, I mean, derby is always nice to watch. Yeah,
Mm.
and of course you have your favorite teams, and like I said, Liverpool. If you the current situation, yeah, if you look at Liverpool, they are playing very consistent, and they play good football. They change their style sometimes, so that is what good teams did. Yeah, and of course Barcelona. They have new coach. You must have new belief, and you must, even he's a former superstar, a former star player, but you need to give him time. So you need to trust the process. So I believe Barcelona is getting there, and Inter Milan lately they've been doing very, very well. So it's nice to watch them.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Arsenal, of course, like Arteta, at first at start of the season, everybody thought that he'll be leaving in the mid-season, but he has done very well. But lately, of course, in football, you can't win all, you can't lose all. So with young players that that has been involved with Arsenal, I think it's a matter of time. Another 2-3 years, they come back to what they are before.
Yeah.
Logan, before you ask the last question, one more
Mm.
question, one question, lah, coach. Arsenal
Yeah.
Champions League or Europa League this year? Will they qualify for Champions or Europa?
No, everyone wants them to qualify for champions.
Champions, yes.
But for me, Europa will be good because they have all the young players that need to learn the process. Because champions is definitely good for their development, good money for Arsenal. But
Exactly.
if young players playing in Europa, they get the momentum. They probably, if they can win the Europa, it will give them the belief to take it to Champions League in 1 or 2 years' time.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, as a United fan, Champions League is overrated, lah.
Yeah.
We're not going to come close in.
Don't worry, as long
Hey,
as
no, United fan is coach. Aduh.
Arsenal finish above United, it's good enough for us.
Hey, yes, exactly. I'm actually keeping quiet now, coach,
You
because a lot
were-
of
you
United fans are criticizing Arsenal.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
see end
yeah.
of the season what happens, lah.
Yes. We wait until the end of the season.
Yeah, end of
All
the
right,
season.
all right. Okay, good. So the
All right.
final question is, okay, we want you to pick the winners for the big three championships, lah. The EPL title, the Champions League, and the World Cup. Who is going to win?
Oh, EPL. Wow. It's either City or Liverpool, Yeah, and I think Liverpool.
Okay, Liverpool. All right, Champions League.
Champions League, Liverpool.
Okay, World Cup, sir.
World Cup. Well, my favorite team don't even qualify.
Italy.
Italy.
Yes.
Aiyo.
I'm looking. I don't know. I think I'm looking at Germany this time.
Oh,
Oh, bold
interesting.
pick actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, who's going to pick against them? What a
Yep,
team.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, coach,
Okay.
we have kept you long enough. Thank you so much for spending the best part of an hour with us. We really, really appreciate it. And really best of luck with the season ahead, lah.
Thank you very much, Logan, to have me. Vinesh, hope I see you guys in KK.
Yes.
Whenever you guys have time to drop by at Likas, don't only in KL, but you have to come to Likas once.
I'll make it a point to come during the season, lah,
Yes,
coach.
yes. I'll bring my whole family.
You are busy with SEA Games, all this. You want to go to Hanoi, all this. Yeah. But make sure that you come to Likas. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
coach.
much,
And
coach.
thank you so
Thank you
much
so
to all
much.
our viewers for sticking around with us. As always, follow us on all our social medias, and we will see you again next week. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
great
you.
evening.
Take care. Yeah.
Bye-bye.